Today's lesson is on the 5-number summary, box plot, IQR, lower and upper fence, range, and outlier. Here we have an example list of numbers. Make sure that it is in order from smallest to largest. One more time, it must be in order from smallest to largest. So rewrite this list down here. So rewrite the list from smallest to largest and make sure that it is in order. The first number that we need to find is the minimum number, which is the smallest number. So in this list, the smallest number is 1. The next number is maximum value. The maximum value is the biggest number. So in this list, which is 11.5. The next number we need to find is Q2. Q2 is the median or the middle of the entire list. So here's the list again. This list is the same as up here, okay? So Q2 is the median, the middle of the entire list. So to get the Q2, you will do this procedure. Left, right, left, right. So here we go. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. And this is my middle number. However, since there are two middle, you have to add them up, divide by 2. If the middle is only one number, then that is Q2. However, since there are two middle, you must add them up, divide by 2. So in this case, our Q2 is 6.6. Okay. Next number we need to find is Q1. Q1 is the median or the middle to the left side. So here I have a list. This is the original list. So from the middle or Q2 to the left will be Q1. One more time. Q1 is from Q2 all the way to the left side. So what is that list? So here are my lists. Here's my list. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6, which I have down here. One more time. Q1 is the middle from Q2 all the way to the left side. So right here, from here all the way to the left side will be my Q1. So how do I figure that number? So write out these lists again. Just from Q2 all the way to the left side, which I have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and also 6, which I have right here. So these numbers are from Q2 to the left side. So repeat that whole process again. Left, right, left, right. And since this is the only number that I have, this is my median for Q1. Okay. Now we need another median, which is Q3. Now Q3 is from the right side. So here we go. Q3 is from here, which is Q2, all the way to the right side. One more time. Q3 is from Q2 all the way to the right side. So these are the numbers: 7, 2, 8, which I have here, 8.3, 10, and 11.5. Okay, same process again. Left, right, and this is the only number, so therefore this is my Q3. Okay, so these are the 5 numbers that we are looking for, which is called the 5-number summary. The first number is my median, my minimum, which is the smallest number, maximum, which is my biggest number. Q2 is the middle of the entire list. Now be very careful. If your middle has 2 numbers, you must add them up, divide by 2. Now Q1 is the middle to the left side. So from here to the left will be Q1. And Q3 is the middle to the right side. So from here to the right side will be your Q3. Okay, so one more time. Q2 is the entire list. Q1 is from the middle, which is Q2, all the way to the right, all the way to the left side. That's Q1. Q3 is from here all the way to the right side, which is your Q3. Okay, so this is the 5-number summary that you must need, that you must have, okay, from the list. Now let's use these 5-number summary to make a box plot. So I'm going to go over here. Here we go. So here is my 5-number summary. Okay, make sure you write them in order: minimum, Q1, Q2, Q3, and maximum. Now to draw the box plot, make sure you draw the number line first. Draw the number line first, then label your minimum, your Q1, Q2, Q3, and your max. So minimum was at 1, maximum, which is 11.5, my Q1, which is 3, my Q2, which is 6.6, my Q3, which is 8.3. Now the only place that you will draw a box is from Q1 to Q3. One more time, you only draw the box is from Q1 to Q3, which I have right here. One more time, you only draw the box from Q1 to Q3. Okay, and then in the middle right here, which is your Q2, draw that line as well too. And then from Q1, draw the line to the minimum, and then from Q3, draw your line to maximum. This right here is called a box plot. Okay, next we need to find the range. Range is very easy. All you have to do is take the max number, subtract the minimum. So biggest subtract smallest. So my biggest is 11.5, my smallest is 1, which I have here. So my range is 10.5. What does range mean? From minimum to max, it is at 10.5. That's how much it's spread. That's how wide it is. From here to here is 10.5. Next, IQR. IQR stands for interquartile range. So very similar to range, but you only want the inner part. That's why it's called inter. We only want the inter part. All right, so IQR stands for interquartile range, which is Q3 subtract Q1. So very similar to range. Take the biggest quartile, subtract from the smallest quartile. So here is the biggest quartile, here's the smallest quartile. So 8.3 subtract 3, so IQR is 5.3. So where is IQR? IQR is from here, Q1, all the way to Q3. From here to here, it is 5.3. Okay, next we need to find the upper fence. Now to find the upper fence, the reason why we need the upper fence, and let me show you the rest before I explain. We need to find the upper fence, the upper inner fence, the lower inner fence, the upper outer fence, and the lower outer fence. The reason why we need these 4 is to figure out, is there an outlier? And then from there is, okay, so we need to find these 4 right here, these 4 to find the outlier. Okay, so and the formula is very easy. So the upper inner fence, you will take Q3 plus 1.5 times IQR. This formula will always be the same, so it won't change. So all you have to do is just plug in Q3, which is 8.3, plus 1.5 times IQR. Your IQR is over here, which is 5.3. Just plug them in, do your algebra, and it comes out to 16.25. So that's your upper inner. Okay, now let's find your lower inner fence, which is very similar to the upper, except plus. For lower, it will be minus. So for upper, if you look at the upper equation and the lower equation, it is the same thing. The only difference is that upper will be plus and the lower will be minus. And also, instead of Q3, your lower will be Q1. So Q1 subtract 1.5 times IQR. So Q1 is 3. Where did I get this number? Which is from your 5-number summary right here. Right here. Okay? So 3 subtract 1.5 times 5.3. And if you do your math, it will come out to be negative 4.95. So these 2 are your inner. Why are they inner? Because they are the closest to the minimum and the maximum. Okay? Now we need to find the outer. The outer is when it's way out on this side and also way on the other side. Okay? So here is the upper outer and lower outer fence formula. Same formula, the only difference is plus and minus. For upper, you do Q3. For lower, you do Q1. So same thing, just plug all these numbers in. Q3 is 8.1 plus 3, IQR, which is 5.3. Again, where did I get the 5.3? Which is up here. Okay, and then you do your algebra, so it comes out to be 24.2. Now let's do the lower outer fence. Q1 subtract 3, IQR. So what is Q1? 3 minus 3 times IQR, which is 5.3. Do your algebra on this, comes out to be negative 12.9. Now again, the main reason why we need the upper inner, lower inner, upper outer, and lower outer is to find the outlier. Now sometimes outlier could be strong outlier, and sometimes it could be a weak outlier. So again, we need these 4 fences to find out the outlier. Okay, so here is the whole complete box plot with the lower and outer fence, and then identify if there is a outlier or not. Okay, so here is a more complete graph of a box plot. So this box plot right here that I have is zoomed in. Okay, it's zoomed in, so that's why you see bigger. But here on this side, it's the same plot. So this graph and this graph are the same. It's just that the only difference is that I put in the lower inner fence, the lower outer fence, the upper inner fence, and the upper outer fence. Okay, so to graph this, you do the same thing. Number line, but this time I'm not incrementing by 1. As you can see over here, I increment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here I increment it by 5. Okay, so be very careful when you increment this. Okay, so one more time, this box plot graph that I have here is the same as over here. Okay, the reason why this looks smaller and this looks bigger is because I need to include the lower inner fence, lower outer fence, upper inner fence, and upper outer fence. Okay, so as you can see, lower inner fence, lower outer fence. Anything that belongs in this area is considered mild or weak outlier. Anything on this side will be considered the strong or the extreme. Okay, so mild or weak, extreme or strong. One more time. This area is considered mild or weak. This area will consider extreme or strong. And whatever you do on the left side, the other side is also the same thing. This area is considered mild, weak. This area is considered extreme and strong. Okay, so mild, weak, extreme, strong, mild, weak, extreme, strong. According to our box plot right here, there is no outlier here, there is no outlier here, there is no outlier here, there is no outlier. So based on the example that we have, there is no outlier for mild nor extreme. Okay, so this box plot is the same as this. And where does this come from? From these 5 summary. Where do I get this 5 summary number, which is over here that I have from the beginning, right here. And where did I get these numbers? From the data that I have here. And make sure that these data are in order from smallest to largest. So when you do your homework, make sure this is the final graph. This is not the final graph. Over here, this is not the final graph. The final graph would be this graph. One more time, when you do your homework, this right here will be the final graph, the final answer that I need. Make sure you put the box plot. Make sure you label lower inner, lower outer, upper inner, upper outer fence. Why do we need these fence? Is to find out the outlier. And sometimes outlier could be mild or extreme or weak or strong. Now outlier can be on the left, outlier can also be on the right. And sometimes you can have an outlier here and also over here. You can have outlier in this area and this area at the same time. Same thing on this side as well too. Okay, so one more time, when you do your homework, make sure this is the final answer, the final graph that you need to show. Okay, so here's another example that I have here, which I already did all the work. Okay, so here I have, so this right here is the second example that I already did all the work. So the minimum is 1, maximum is 38. Q5, again, Q1 is from the left side, so Q1 is 5. Q2 is the entire list. Q3 is to the right side. Okay, so one more time, Q1 is from Q2 to the left. Q2 is the entire list. Q3 is from Q2 all the way to the right side. Here's my range. Here's my IQR, lower inner and outer, upper inner and outer. Again, how did I get this? Is what I did from the first example that I have over here. Finding the 5-number summary, finding the range and interquartile range, and finding the upper inner, lower, upper outer, and lower outer. Okay, so again, this is the second example, which I already did all the work. So the final product, the final graph that I need to show would be this right here. So make sure you label my box plot, minimum, Q1, Q2, Q3, max. Only from Q1 to Q3 you will draw the box, okay? And label your lower inner, lower outer, upper inner, and then upper outer fence. Okay, so make sure you label all this right here. Your box plot, lower inner, lower outer, upper inner, upper outer. Now, according to our graph, as you can see, this dot right here, this dot right here is my max. However, this dot is in this area and it is considered the outlier. And since it is in this area, it is considered the weak outlier or mild outlier. Okay, so for this data, number 38 is mild outlier or weak outlier. Why? Because it's in this area. Assuming that this number was way over here, then you will say strong or extreme outlier. Okay, so one more time, your homework. Make sure you show this final graph, this entire graph right here. Find out the outlier. Is it mild or strong? Okay, so one more time. The final product, the final answer when you do your homework, you must show this graph. The box plot, label the 5-number summary, label the lower inner, lower outer, upper inner, upper outer. Once you have that, find out the outlier. Is it weak, strong? Weak, strong. Okay, so that's how you would do the homework for 5-number summary and outlier.